on the TigerPaw Business Suite. Let me first tell you a little bit about TigerPaw. TigerPaw's been in business for 30 years. It's a family-owned company. We've been around for 30 years. The TigerPaw Business Suite is our only product. This isn't a sideline for us. This is all that we do. So everyone at TigerPaw is committed to making your life easier to run your own enterprise by streamlining your business processes. In my 21 years with the company, I've had an opportunity to talk with many small to medium-sized businesses that started out using multiple applications to run their business, whether that be software applications, spreadsheets, and as their business grows, they found that over a period of time, this became more and more difficult to keep track of these processes since none of these applications or any of these spreadsheets were able to communicate with each other, and they found themselves in a situation where they're having to double key information to get from one process to another, and there was no centralized place to get the metrics as far as what's going on within their enterprise. So TigerPaw, if you find yourself within that type of an environment, this is where TigerPaw can really help you. The Business Suite is designed to keep track of your CRM, sales, and marketing functions, manage your installation, purchasing of equipment for the installation, whether that be through pass-through purchase orders or whether you manage inventory in multiple warehouse locations. We can manage your installation through one or more installed tickets or possibly a multi-phase project. Service ticketing and dispatching of your technicians to do the various things that they need to do. Providing maintenance contracts, managed services, which can be your recurring billing model within your organization. And sending the transactions that take place within a TigerPaw solution over to accounting to keep your accounts receivable and the general ledger all in tune. So let's go into TigerPaw now and take a look at this. This view is what we call our account view. This really is the primary view. I consider this kind of the foundation. Whether you're focused on the sales and marketing side of the operation, whether it be on the installation side or the service ticketing or the managed services, this is going to be the look at your prospect, your customer. So it's here you're going to gather everything you know about that location, such as their name, their address, all of their phone numbers, and all the contacts at that site with their associated phone numbers, fax numbers, email addresses, and maybe a separate mailing address. TigerPaw supports the journal. These are the date and timestamp notes for everything important that's going on with this one location. TigerPaw makes system entries where you see a quote was generated, a service order being created, email correspondence. So what you end up with in your journal is a date and timestamp list of all the important detail that's gone on with this one site. TigerPaw also supports a calendar function for your scheduling of your tasks, appointments, and to-dos. And there's several different views of a TigerPaw calendar. Here's a group calendar where you might see everyone's schedule in one view. You might put individuals in your organization into groups and view just that group's schedule or calendar. Some of these tasks may be associated with a project, maybe with a service ticket, or possibly a sales-related follow-up call. You also have an individual calendar by rep. I'm logged in as Charles Summit. Charles has some time-sensitive things on the non-time-sensitive things here on the left. He has some time-sensitive things over here on the right. You have several views of the calendar from the single day. There's a 5-day view, a 7-day view, and a monthly view of your calendar. Now, TigerPaw can also help you with your marketing, and our marketing philosophy is find the needs and wants of a prospect as far as products and services you offer. You funnel them now into groups of clients that have like or similar interest in those same products and services, and you mass market to the group. That brings us to the Group Explorer. Here are some account groups defined within this database. Here's a group of clients that have an interest in becoming a maintenance customer. There's 68 different accounts that make up this group. There could be hundreds. The point is, I can put these 68 accounts on a marketing campaign where over the course of time, they may be getting several emails, including literature packages, scheduled tasks for the sales reps to make the follow-up calls to send these individuals our marketing message. Now, if you are using email as your method to market to your clients, here's now where you can allow email analytics to help you out. Here we're going to take a look at a campaign. And this particular campaign sent out 478 emails, of which we had 29 unique opens. Here are the 29 accounts that opened our email. Now within the body of the email, you might embed links taking them to your website for product information. Here you can see that we had 23 accounts that not only opened our email, but actually clicked on the link provided, taking them to that website for that product information. Here are those 23 accounts. This button now allows me to funnel them now into another group where now I could concentrate on them because they are my most likely prospects out of the entire marketing campaign. Now at this point, you might consider these 23 accounts now to be sales opportunities within your organization, and we now can track them on an opportunity within TigerPaw. Here's an opportunity in this case to sell something to One Stop Dental. The opportunity is going to have any number of stages. Now, my opportunity has 6, from the qualifying stage to the close after the sale. You might have more stages in your process. You may have less. You may name these what you choose, but this then becomes your sales cycle. Forecasting. Here is the probability of close date, expected dollar amount with the best case, worst case scenario. So think of the opportunity as the entire sales story. Where did our lead come from? Who in our organization is working that lead? Where is the lead in our defined process? And what's the expected dollar amount that we could recognize if this should close with success? Now when this goes to the proposal stage, you want to tie the quote to this, again tying the entire sales story together, and the quote is attached directly to the opportunity. Here's what a quote looks like in TigerPaw. Quotes can be created from templates. If you have certain configurations you wish to use over and over again, you can import detail into a TigerPaw quote, or you can bring items in from TigerPaw's price list. If you'd like, you can discount by line item or discount across the entire quote as a percentage, flat dollar amount, change your total sale price, or plug in a margin. You may also offer leasing options to your customers if you provide leasing options rather than out-and-out purchase. Once you have the items on your quote configured in the way you feel comfortable, before you'd put them into the hands of your client, from the Manager's tab, you can see the breakdown. There's your material cost, your labor cost, combined total cost, your profit, and right now this is sitting at a 34% margin. The other thing that's important from here is that I can see that my needed hours match quoted, so I know I'm quoting enough labor to satisfy the material. I'm not cutting myself short on the labor. Now, if these numbers are where you're comfortable, you then can email this quote directly over to your client. I'll show you the proposal view. Most of our clients prefer that. We do give you several outputs of this quote. It's simple to put your logo on printed documents. Here's the cover page going to our client, One Stop Dental, and here is the line item detail, which can include pictures. If you have pictures associated with your price book items within TigerPaw, we'll print these with the line item detail on the proposal. Now that you have a proposal in the hands of your client, if they should approve the proposal, which this is internal approval, this can trigger workflows to notify the individuals that need to know now that this is going to be a sale. That could be your project managers, people who do the parts ordering, or anyone else within your organization that might need to know that this is going to be an installation. Now also by this being approved, as far as TigerPaw is concerned, we know this will be one or more invoices. That's a given. But depending on how you process the quote would be the path it takes in getting there. Now you do have some options from here. If you process this as a work order, this creates a pick ticket, an invoice, and this would ship product to the customer. In this case, they're going to do the installation on their side. We're going to sell them product. Now, if it is something that you're going to be involved with as a multi-phase project or maybe a smaller installation as an install ticket, we convert it to service orders. Now, let's first take a look at if we take a look here at a service ticket that came out of a quote. This is an installation ticket that came from the process of the quote. There is one purchase order attached to it. There could be multiples. And TigerPaw brings the detail into the parts and labor for installation. Now we can create any number of invoices from this process. And this is what a TigerPaw invoice is going to look like coming out of this installation. This again is done through Crystal Reports. Simple again to put your logo on these printed documents. And when the invoice posts coming out of TigerPaw, there are three things that happen automatically behind the scenes. The first thing, this is when we would relieve your inventory of the material items you just sold this customer. Second, we add this list of items into the customer's asset records. We maintain a complete list of what this customer purchased from you. And third, if you are feeding accounting with this to be one of the accounting applications that we do support, we would update your accounts receivable and your general ledger with the accounting information to keep ARGL all in tune with the process. Now, you may have another process coming out of a quote for maybe something of a larger scope or nature as far as installation, and that is a project. Projects are, again, coming from a quote. Here's the originating quote that came about with this project. There can be multiple quotes. And more than likely, before this all is said and done, there will be change order quotes. As changes take place during the installation process, we treat those as change order quotes so that we know who requested the change, what is the change, and who signed off on that change. And then when TigerPaw processes those, it updates the installation orders with those changes. But for now, there's one quote on this project. When it converted, it created the install orders by phase for me and associated the appropriate labor and material items to those orders for installation. It also created the phases. Now there's 3 on this one. There can be any number of phases. When we look at a phase, every phase has an expected start date, an expected completion date. We will compare that with the actual date it started, actual date it completed. You might assign someone within your organization in charge of a phase, and you may define checklists of things that you want to be completed before this phase is done. These may be templated. You may add these on the fly. No limit to these checklist items. We want to also help you manage your resources. These are tasks. These are calendar events where people are scheduled to work the project. We want to get individuals on the calendar so that we don't overbook them. And as they start working the project, we'll keep track of how much time they spent. These are time log entries where individuals have logged the amount of time they spent doing the various things that they need to do to complete the project. All purchasing. There may be any number of POs from any number of vendors attached to this to get the deliverables in, and we'll give you a list of anything that's been ordered across any and all POs that we're still waiting on. So we're still waiting on a few of these components. On the profit and the budget, there's the total sale price of this project. That would be the sum total of any and all quotes. In our case, at this level, we have one quote. The customer had an approved budget of $3,000. So we're still under budget, not by much, but we're still under budget on this. And we internally set a warning threshold at the place where we want individuals to know within our organization when this project is $1,800 completed. That will trigger workflows, which will provide emails to those individuals or pop-ups on their screen if they happen to be logged into TigerPaw that this project's at that level of completion. We invoice at the project, and you have multiple ways to invoice here, just as you do across the entire TigerPaw platform. You can do one complete invoice for the entire project. I could do multiple invoices by selecting items to invoice up until the time we invoice everything on the project. Or I could use what we call progressive invoicing, where I might invoice by percentages, creating, again, multiple invoices up until the time the project's done, and TigerPaw will actually calculate the final invoice as to what's left over. Now, there are reports linked directly to the project itself. We've got project summary, there's timeline, project outline, and here is your work in progress job costing report. The estimated totals are coming from the quote, or any quotes, but in this case, there's one quote. It's broken down by material labor on the estimates. Your actual is what's put into the install tickets, which actually been installed, and the variance is any place where they may not necessarily agree. The invoice totals, we've 8% invoiced at this amount. We have not hit our profit, so we're still in the red on this project right now, but we still have a balance to invoice of $69,1040 as it sits at this moment. So the project really allows that project manager to manage resources, get individuals scheduled on the calendar that we know they'll be tied up on this project, get the deliverables ordered on the purchase orders, now track the installation of those deliverables on the individual install tickets, invoice for the project to bring the revenue in the door, and send those transactions over to accounting to update accounts receivable general ledger. Now, once you've sold items to your customer, as I mentioned earlier, those items go into that customer's asset records, and you may choose to put those items under some type of maintenance contract, agreement, or combination of both. TigerPaw supports both of those. TigerPaw supports maintenance contracts for whether it be a time period contract, hourly based, or whether it be more of a retainer type of a contract. We also can provide agreements. Agreements are for your front-end services, and agreements might be linked with a remote monitoring management tool such as Level Platforms, Kaseya, Enable, or Continuum. Now in this case, this particular agreement is linked to Enable. We've identified what we're providing the customer as far as services. We're managing their servers, their workstations. We're also providing backup and disaster recovery, and we've also bundled in our maintenance extended service agreement. So the customer is going to get one invoice. We can automate the billing for you for your recurring billing. How do you bill this? This is billed monthly. What day of the month do you want TigerPaw to reach out, in this case, to Enable, pull in your assets so that everything is up to date, create the invoice, and email that invoice over to the contact at that site that should get it. On the 3rd of the month, we can also process a payment as a credit card or an ACH payment, making this a recurring billing model that is touch-free. Now, the other thing that's important about this agreement is the profitability. As the alerts get generated, in this case out of Enable, that creates a service ticket within TigerPaw and is going to attach that ticket to a maintenance contract so that we can capture all the detail as far as profitability. Here's where it's all tied together. This is the agreement profitability report. Here we want to be cognizant of what is all the revenue that's come in from the monthly billing or any other invoices that's come out of this agreement with this customer, but I also have to pay attention to what have I expended in my labor cost, or could it be material cost, or in this case, a combination of both. So here are the service tickets that have come in with this combination, and the items and their quantity and their cost that we've provided in maintaining these services. That way, TigerPaw can calculate my profit-to-date numbers so that any time I wish to run this report, I can see exactly where we are, and I would certainly run this when it comes up time for renewal. And TigerPaw can tell you well in advance of that renewal so that you have time to run this report to make your decision on how you wish to go forward. Now, up to this moment, we've been talking about service tickets in the light of installations, projects, maintenance contracts and agreements, which, yes, they're a very big part of that. Service tickets can come in a variety of different ways. Maybe someone places a call. We're going to search for, let's say, One Stop Dental by looking by their account name, and I'm just doing a right click and going to New Service Order. This customer has multiple sites. Now, there's only 2 of them, but this allows me now to verify by address which location we want to create the service ticket. This customer's not been paying their bill on time. We place them on credit hold, and we get this pop-up notifying that they are on credit hold. And they also have a loaner that belongs to us. This is called special instructions. If there's anything you would want someone to know about this particular client, put it in the form of special instructions, and this will alert you when you create the ticket. The ticket's date and time stamped. I'm logged in as Charles. It knows I created it, and this customer is under contract with us. I don't have to go look it up. TigerPaw knows that. This one happens to be an hourly-based contract, and they have 39 hours remaining. Now, these text fields, I can put information. I can type this information in as to what needs to be done. I can create options in my master tables to pick from, no limit to these. I also can use templates to really speed up the process. So in this case, we're going to dispatch a TAC to take care of a virus. TigerPaw is going to update the fields for me. There's my brief description. There's my work requested. There's the step-by-step process we want the technician to go through. And I've also put in the work performed. And in the parts and labor, I've added the labor rate that we typically charge per hour to provide these services. Now it's just a matter of scheduling a tech to address this. I can do it manually if I wish. These are technicians. But more than likely, I'll do this through the dispatch board. The dispatch board is another calendar view, but this is a graphical view of your technician's schedule. Here along the top, you see your technicians. There's the individual jobs assigned to those individual techs. And below is a filtered list of the jobs that need to be scheduled. This is all drag and drop move these around to assign and reassign technicians to these particular orders. Here we are back on our account view. As I mentioned to you when we started this presentation, that this is the foundation going forward in a TigerPaw solution. You can link documents to an account, where the documents might be attached to the account record itself, maybe to a service order for that account, or even to a project, invoice, maintenance contract, or sales opportunity. You can scan those documents right in through TigerPaw. We have all the customers' information as far as their sales information. Here's every sales opportunity we've done with them. There's every quote. When we sold those items to the customer, they go into that customer's asset records. These are the assets this customer has. When we look at an asset, we can see if there's any vendor warranty expiration date. What's our warranty expiration? Do we want to be notified prior to that warranty expiration coming up? And how was this purchased? There's the date they bought it, the vendor we bought it from, and the date we bought it from that vendor. Here's the service history of that item. I can see all the service history of that one site if I choose. Here's every service order that we've done for this one location. We have all their projects, all their contracts. So what you have here is a 360-degree view of everything you've done with this client, whether it be sales, installation, service, maintenance contracts, agreements, managed services, all in one place, and feeding transactions over to your accounting software to keep your accounts receivable general ledger all in tune. Now, all this information that we're gathering on all these different processes, here's the metrics, here's the dashboard. The dashboard is 6 different panels of data. Now, the user defines what is going to be in those individual 6 panels, whether it's company-wide information in these types of categories, or whether it be personal information related to them as the logged-in user. What is picked will be in that particular funnel, that particular dashboard view. Here's the opportunity funnel. If I want to know the stages, if I want to know the opportunities that are in this stage of my funnel, I click this data set. There are those opportunities. I can further drill down to go into this document from right here as well. If I deal with invoicing, maybe I want to see all my invoices that are 121 days older. There are those invoices, the customers, and the amounts due. Here's my group assigned. I can funnel these now all into a group, and now I can send an email or possibly a mail merge letter to these accounts letting them know we've got some invoices starting to have some birthdays here. This is actually a floating window. I can move this over to my second monitor, leave this up and run. This auto refreshes every minute and a half, so what I am seeing here is up to the minute current information. So in this presentation, we really talked about TigerPaw being that end-to-end solution, managing your marketing, your sales process, quoting, installation project management, service ticketing, maintenance contracts, managed services, recurring billing, and managing inventory, maybe in a pass-through environment or possibly in a environment where you have multiple warehouse locations. TigerPaw is that one solution that will manage all of your processes and send those transactions over to accounting to keep your accounts receivable and your general ledger all in tune. So for more information regarding TigerPaw processes and how TigerPaw can help your organization, feel free to visit our website at www.tigerpaw.com, or if you'd like to speak with the TigerPaw professional, send an email to sales@tigerpawsoftware.com or dial our 800 number, 800-704-9009, to speak with a TigerPaw professional. Thank you very much for attending this webinar today. I hope that this has answered some of your questions, and we look forward to helping you move your processes forward.